He betrayed his partner and lost all. The fabric of betrayal, a story of trust, greed, and the quiet justice of consequences. There are moments in life when two people meet, and in a single conversation, the future changes. Sometimes it creates greatness, and sometimes it plants the seed of betrayal. This is the story of two men, two brilliant businessmen who built an empire from nothing, and how one decision, driven by greed, destroyed everything. It began on a quiet evening inside an exclusive business club. Soft music played in the background. The room smelled faintly of polished wood and expensive cigars. Across a small round table sat two men. Daniel Whitmore, a calm, thoughtful strategist known for his integrity, and Richard Hale, bold, charismatic, and ambitious. They had just met at an international textile conference. But within minutes, they realized something remarkable. They shared the same vision. Richard leaned forward slightly and said, "Daniel, the textile industry is stuck in the past. Cheap production, poor ethics, declining quality. But imagine if we did the opposite." Daniel listened quietly. Richard continued, "Premium fabrics, ethically sourced cotton, the best silk, sustainable dyes, world-class manufacturing." Daniel paused for a moment. Then he nodded. "Quality over speed," he said. "Reputation over shortcuts." The two men looked at each other. In that moment, they both knew they had just found the partner they had been searching for. There were no lawyers present, no long contracts, no complicated negotiations, just a simple handshake and a promise. From that handshake, Whitmore and Hale Global Fabrics was born. The early years were not easy. They traveled constantly. Cotton farms in Portugal, silk suppliers in Turkey, design studios in Milan, factories in North Carolina. Day and night they worked together, building relationships, building systems, building trust, and slowly, their reputation began to grow. Luxury fashion houses started calling them. Major retailers signed contracts. Within a few years, Whitmore and Hale had become one of the fastest-growing premium textile suppliers in the industry. Success followed them everywhere. During those years, both men also found love. Daniel married Claire. She was kind, thoughtful, and deeply grounded. She believed success meant helping others. Richard married Evelyn. Evelyn was elegant, intelligent, and extremely ambitious. She loved wealth. She loved status. And she loved winning. At first, everything seemed perfect. But sometimes, success creates something dangerous. He had been selected for an award recognizing ethical leadership in manufacturing. The room applauded. Daniel smiled modestly as he accepted the award. Across the ballroom, Evelyn watched silently. Her smile remained on her face, but something behind her eyes had changed. That night, as she and Richard returned home, she stood in front of the mirror, slowly removing her jewelry. Without turning toward him, she spoke. "Tell me something, Richard." He looked up from his phone. "What?" Evelyn said quietly. "You work harder than Daniel, everyone knows that." Richard shrugged slightly. "We built the company together." Evelyn turned and looked directly at him. "But why does he receive the spotlight?" Richard didn't answer. Evelyn walked closer. "Equal partnership sounds noble," she said softly. "But the truth is, you deserve more." That was the first drop of poison. At first, Richard ignored it. But Evelyn repeated the idea again. And again, and again. Daniel is holding you back. You're the real visionary. You deserve majority control. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel. Because here, every story reminds us of one truth. Over time, those whispers began to echo inside Richard's mind. And eventually, he made a decision that would change everything. It began with a single shipment, a premium batch of luxury fabric that was quietly redirected to a private warehouse. No one noticed. Then another contract was quietly modified. Then another shipment was rerouted. Funds slowly began to disappear, hidden within complex logistics reports. At first, the numbers were small, but the pattern grew. Inside the accounting department, a senior financial officer noticed something unusual. The records didn't match the inventory. After several days of reviewing documents, he quietly approached Daniel. They met inside Daniel's office late in the evening. The accountant placed several files on the desk. "Mr. Whitmore," he said carefully, "I believe there are irregularities in some transactions." Daniel slowly flipped through the pages. The accountant hesitated before speaking again. "These approvals appear to come from Mr. Hale." The room became very quiet. Daniel closed the folder and looked out the window. For several seconds, he said nothing. Finally, he spoke calmly. "If what you are saying is true, then it was not our agreement." The accountant asked quietly, "What will you do?" Daniel replied with surprising calm, "Nothing for now." He looked back at the documents. Truth has a way of revealing itself. But while Daniel waited patiently, Evelyn was planning something far more aggressive. She knew suspicion was growing, so she decided to create a distraction. Through a private contact, she hired a woman who specialized in corporate consulting. But this consultant had another skill: manipulation. Evelyn gave her instructions. She was to get close to Daniel, attend meetings, exchange messages, create the appearance of an inappropriate relationship. Soon photographs appeared. Emails were edited. Rumors began spreading inside the company. Within weeks, Richard demanded an emergency board meeting. The executives gathered around a long conference table. The atmosphere was tense. Richard stood up and spoke firmly. Serious ethical concerns have been raised regarding Daniel Whitmore's conduct. Several board members looked shocked. Daniel sat quietly. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel. Because here, every story reminds us of one truth. He did not interrupt. He did not argue. He simply listened. Independent auditors were brought in to investigate. But behind the scenes, Richard made another choice. One of the senior auditors received a discreet envelope in a parking garage. Inside that envelope was enough money to ensure the investigation would produce the desired outcome. The final report was sealed, and the damage was done. The conflict moved to court. Weeks later, a judge reviewed the case and made a decision. The partnership would be dissolved. The company would be divided equally. Half to Daniel, half to Richard. The media described it as a bitter corporate divorce. But there was something no one else knew. Richard had secretly built hidden supply networks and private storage warehouses. When the company was divided, he walked away with far more assets than Daniel. From the outside, it looked like Richard had won. But time has a way of revealing character. Daniel focused on the core manufacturing company he retained. He increased transparency. He improved employee benefits. He listened to workers. Customers trusted him. Employees respected him. And slowly, his company began to grow again. Within 3 years, profits had doubled. Meanwhile, Richard expanded aggressively. Factories opened in multiple countries. New offices appeared across Europe and Asia. But something inside the company had changed. Executives complained about management decisions. Employees began resigning. Evelyn clashed constantly with senior staff. The culture became toxic. Then the first disaster struck. One of Richard's cargo ships carrying millions of dollars in textile materials disappeared during a violent Atlantic storm. Insurance investigators soon discovered irregular documentation. The claim was delayed. Financial pressure increased. But worse was still coming. Late one night, inside one of Richard's largest warehouses, an electrical fault sparked a fire. Within minutes, the flames spread across the entire facility. Firefighters arrived quickly, but the damage was unstoppable. Millions of dollars of materials were destroyed. Investigators later revealed something disturbing. Safety systems had not been properly maintained. Negligence. Lawsuits followed. Investors began withdrawing. Executives resigned. The empire Richard had built so quickly began collapsing just as fast. And through it all, Daniel remained focused on building something different. Years later, at a global sustainability summit, Daniel Whitmore was invited onto the stage. He was receiving an international award for ethical leadership in business. As he accepted the award, he spoke only a few words. "In business," he said calmly, "the most valuable asset you possess is trust. Everything else can disappear." Across the world, in a quiet office now half empty, Richard Hale watched the speech on a screen. The empire he had taken through deception was gone, not through revenge, not through anger, but through consequences. And that is the lesson of this story. Betrayal may win the first battle, but character wins the war. If this story moved you, tell us in the comments. Do you believe integrity always wins in the end? And if you enjoy stories about justice, karma, and the consequences of human choices, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. Because here, every story reminds us of one truth. Every deed has a result. Join our community to more Hidden Victory Code.